Cinderella, but politically correct. Once upon a time,
in a wheelchair-accessible location, there lived a young woman named Cinderella. Unfortunately, her natural birth mother died while she was a teenager. A few years later, her parent, who identifies as male, remarried. Not because he couldn't handle being a single parent, but because he felt like Cinderella needed a mother figure. His new wife had 2 female dependents of her own. However, they didn't get along with Cinderella. Then her father suddenly died. Afterwards, Cinderella's stepmother treated her very cruelly, and her stepsisters made her work very hard, as if she were their own personal unpaid laborer. She would be given unattractive clothes in which she was forced to do all the unclean work in the mansion, while her stepsisters and mother would enjoy the comfort of a labor-free lifestyle. Cinderella felt discriminated against and offended by her new stepfamily. Discrimination didn't really fit into her vision of equality and humanity. On her 16th year of birth, Cinderella's family was invited to the royal ball that the prince was hosting, but her stepmother forbid her from attending and told her to continue with her chores. Later that evening, the stepmother and sisters left for the party. Cinderella was locked in the attic and crying on the hardwood floor.
How dare them to leave me here? The inequality in this household. I really want to go to the royal ball, but I don't even have a dress to wear.
Then suddenly, a fairy godfather appeared.
Yo, stop crying on my wood. That tree didn't die for you to do that.
What are you doing here? What even are you?
The correct question is who am I, you speciesist? I'm your fairy godfather.
I thought my fairy godmother was supposed to come.
Fairy godparents are not exclusive to just females, you sexist. Anyways, I'm here to prepare you for the ball.
Then he suddenly waves his magic wand, and Cinderella is wearing a tuxedo. A carriage led by 4 horses is waiting outside as well.
Oh my gosh, I wanted a dress. I'm a lady, not a guy.
Well, women can wear tuxedos as well. Anyway, go outside. You have until midnight until the spell wears off. Now go!
Cinderella rushes downstairs in her glass slippers to the courtyard and gets inside of the carriage. A few minutes later, she arrives at the royal ball. When she enters the ballroom, all eyes turn on her. Cinderella felt uncomfortable from the male attention she was receiving. The prince notices Cinderella and walks up to her.
Are you okay, miss? You seem to be overwhelmed by the attention you're getting.
Well, I'm completely fine. Your toxic masculinity is really showing. I don't need a mitt. Wait, are you the prince?
Yes, I am. Would you like to dance with me? Because you look rather ravishing this evening.
Ew, no. He looks like every other man who thinks they need a helpless woman to be with them. It was a mistake to come here. It's a quarter till midnight. I must leave.
Cinderella stormed off. As she was leaving, one of her glass slippers was left behind. The prince picked it up and ran after her. Cinderella went home just in time, and her clothes reverted back to her peasant rags. The next day, the prince made an announcement across the kingdom that he wanted to find the owner of the glass slipper. He went door to door, fitting it on different women, desperately trying to find the girl he met last night. He finally arrived at Cinderella's home. He put the shoe on Cinderella's stepsisters, only to find out that it didn't fit them. He was about to leave, but he saw a dirty girl in the back of the room, lying down on the bed. He asked the stepmother if he could put the shoe on her, but she said it wouldn't fit her.
It's still worth a shot.
And said as he pushed Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters aside and walked over to Cinderella.
May I?
He puts the slipper on Cinderella's foot and it fit perfectly.
I found you. Please take my hand in marriage. I will take care of you and take you out of this toxic female-run household.
Cinderella paused and looked at her family. Then she looked back at him and asked for his age.
I am 27 years young.
Suddenly, Cinderella was enraged.
First of all, there is no problem with women running a household. Therefore, I don't like your sexist remarks. Secondly, I'm a minor and you're a grown man. That's completely disgusting. I don't need a man in my life, so you can just get out of this house immediately.
She kicks the prince's rear end with the glass slipper. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters realized that she didn't betray them and started to treat her equally in the end, and they lived happily ever after.